Khalid had always believed that his faith was unshakable. He woke before dawn to pray, fasted regularly, and sought knowledge to grow closer to Allah. His heart found comfort in the rhythm of his worship, and he was certain that nothing could weaken his trust in his Creator. But then came the trial that tested him in ways he never imagined. One evening, as he walked home from the masjid, he received a call that made his heart sink. His shop, the business he had spent years building, had burned to the ground. Everything he had worked for was reduced to ash. His hands trembled as he tried to process the news. How could this happen? He had always given charity, treated his customers with kindness, and thanked Allah for every blessing. For the first time in his life, Khalid felt lost. That night, he knelt in sujood, his forehead pressed against the prayer mat, his voice shaking as he whispered, "Ya Allah, why? Have I done something wrong?" But no answer came. The silence felt unbearable. The following weeks were filled with hardship. With no income, Khalid struggled to support his family. Friends who once stood by him slowly distanced themselves, and the burden of despair weighed heavily on his heart. One day, while sitting by the ruins of his shop, an elderly man approached him. His face was worn by time, but his eyes held a wisdom that seemed boundless. "My son," the man said, placing a gentle hand on Khalid's shoulder, "do you think Allah tests those he does not love?" Khalid looked up, tears in his eyes. "I don't know anymore. I have lost everything." The man smiled. "No, my dear boy, you have not. You have lost only the material. But your faith, that is still within you. Allah does not take without giving in return. Trust in Him." That night, Khalid prayed differently. Instead of questioning, he submitted. He placed his forehead on the ground and whispered, "Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel." Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. Days turned into weeks, and though life was still difficult, Khalid refused to lose hope. He took odd jobs, worked tirelessly, and never missed a prayer. One evening, a man who had been a longtime customer approached him. "I heard what happened to your shop," the man said. "I've always admired your honesty and hard work. I want to invest in you, help you start again." Khalid's breath caught in his throat. Was this the answer to his prayers? With the help of the man's generosity and his own determination, Khalid rebuilt his business from the ground up. But this time, he was different. He had walked through fire, both literally and spiritually, and emerged stronger, more patient, and more trusting of Allah's wisdom. One evening, as he closed his new shop, he stood in gratitude, looking at the sky. The trial he once saw as a punishment had been a mercy in disguise. He had lost, but he had gained something far greater, a faith that no hardship could ever shake. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Qur'an 94:6. If this message touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe so that it reaches more people.